It's hard when you tell people we have 2 children at home and then you still have a 3rd child, and that child is still a huge portion of your life and a huge portion of your journey and story as a family. We had a really fairy tale kind of engagement and wedding and beginning of marriage. Everything was great. We have 2 children at home now, and we just had a new baby boy.
Avni is our first daughter. Avni was born May 6th of 2013.
In October, Avni was 5.5 months old. She woke up in the early morning hours with a fever. Since we were first-time parents, I was nervous. I woke Amit up and said, "Hey, come on over and take a look at Avni. She's running a fever."
You know, I looked at Avni not only through the eyes of a concerned parent, but I'm an emergency medicine physician, so I was looking at her through the eyes of an emergency medicine physician. And everything at the time was reassuring. She did have a high fever that was responding well to Tylenol, and no other warning signs or worrisome symptoms. You know, she was smiling, she was our daughter, she was interactive, she was eating and drinking and making wet diapers, and she was doing well overall. We put her down to rest a little while longer, and I went back in to check on her fairly soon thereafter. And that's when I first noticed the first spot of a rash.
When we saw that rash, we knew that we needed to take her to the hospital. And then within a couple hours of us being at the hospital, she started to take a turn for the worst and became very sick in that short period of time.
It's amazing to walk into the hospital with your normal baby girl, still, you know, despite the fact that she has a fever and the start of a rash, still looking around and smiling and cooing and doing well overall, to the point where very quickly the rash took over her whole body. She started to have seizures, she required a breathing tube, and unbelievably, 15 hours from the first sign of anything being wrong, the first sign of any fever, we lost her. She was gone.
It wasn't until after she passed that we found out that it was meningococcal meningitis.
Meningitis is inflammation of the brain and the spinal cord. Meningococcal meningitis is meningitis caused by the bacteria Neisseria meningitidis. There are 5 types or serogroups, A, C, Y, and W, along with Men-B. You know, meningococcal meningitis is devastating due to its severity. Despite treatment, there's about a 10 to 20% death rate, another 20% or more with severe consequences like amputated arms and legs, brain damage, and hearing loss. And it's aggressive. Death can occur sometimes in under 24 hours or sooner. The good news is now that there's finally a vaccine that's able to prevent meningitis type B.
Many people don't know that a Men-B vaccination has been approved in the United States, where the first vaccine only covered A, C, Y, and W, which are the first 4 types of meningococcal meningitis.
To be fully protected against meningococcal meningitis, you need 2 separate vaccines. The first one covers types A, C, Y, and W. This may be the meningitis vaccine that you already received. Get the new vaccine that covers against Men-B. Speak to a healthcare provider and be aware of all the ways that you can get vaccinated.
The motivation behind us creating a not-for-profit organization for Avni is to keep another family from having to go through this. So her not with us on a day-to-day basis is hard, but it's part of our journey and it's part of what makes us who we are today.
Avni is our first daughter. She is and was perfect in every way, and she will always be our first and a big part of our lives and our thoughts when we first wake up in the morning and part of our thoughts when we go to bed at night.